Hey, how are we doing today? Good. Good. Okay. I just got to start with all you guys that have moved forward. Way to go. Way to go. I wish my grandchildren listened as good as you do. Seriously, it makes a huge difference. And it's little things that make a big impact. So thank you guys for leading out in that. Thank you guys who have been missionaries from Sunday moving to Thursday. And it's just been an incredible thing that's happening. I'll get into this in just a few minutes. But 1 year ago, we launched the next initiative, which is the third capital campaign in the life of our church. This coming Easter will be 18 years old, which is hard to believe. And this is the third capital campaign that we've gone through in order to build and expand. Each one, we were at these points where like, how in the world is this going to happen? There's no way it can ever happen. We don't know how God's going to pull through. And every time, not only did God pull through, he exceeded our expectations and just blew us away. And so as we're at this 1 year point of our 2 year campaign, we want to spend the next couple of weeks refreshing this to you guys, updating you on things that are happening. And for those of you who are new to the church, which there are a lot of you, our statistics are showing us that we've had over 30% growth since we launched this last January. 30% growth in the life of our church, which is an incredible thing. And so we know a lot of you are unfamiliar with what's happening and what the plans are and how you can participate and what that looks like. And so we want to just do this. And it's pretty cool to get to be involved in a capital giving campaign. I don't know how many of you, actually, let me just ask this. How many of you here in the room were with us for all three of the campaigns here at Refinery? Yeah, Reynolds, Jazz, in the back, Seagulls right here. Anybody else? Goucher, I know you've been here. Yeah, E2s, you guys, yeah, the third one, there's just a few of us. But here's the deal. Everyone else who's sitting in this room, you're standing on the faith of these people. Years ago, they took a step of faith, they took a leap of faith, and here's what we did. We prayed for people that we had never seen before. We prayed for people that we didn't know. We prayed for people who hadn't even been born yet. And God has continually answered that prayer time and time again. So it's pretty cool to get to go through a capital campaign. Statistics tell us that about 28% of churches in the United States go through one capital campaign. About 40-some% go through two. And about 20-some% go through three or more. And the way that God works and grows in those things. And so we just feel blessed and we feel this overwhelming gratitude to what God is doing in this place at this time. And we're humbled that we get to be a part of it. So what is the next initiative? The next initiative is our goal and our challenge, first of all, to engage 100% of the people who call the Refinery Christian Church home in prayer and sacrificial giving over the course of this 2 year campaign that began a year ago. So continuing for the next year, that we would pray that God would allow us to continue to expand in ways that we can reach new people. And here's the way that I constantly look at this, and sometimes I think, do we need to build? Do we need to grow? What does this look like? We could kind of coast for a little while here. And the minute I start thinking about that, do you know what I see? Orange cones. I see orange cones and construction everywhere. And that means people moving here, and that means growth, and that means opportunity to reach people who are far from God. And so I just see those. Now I get as frustrated as you do with those orange cones because I drive Indian school most every day, and they're typically a different pattern every day. By the time I go in the morning and the afternoon, I don't even know where I'm at. Okay, so I get frustrated, but I'm also encouraged that we are in a great place, a great time. And so for our second capital campaign, we raised $4 million to purchase the land that we're on right now. We have 25 acres here, all the way to Indian School and everything south of the curve and all that. All that's ours, 25 acres. We have plenty of room to build. But when we built that, there was nothing out here. There was nothing happening. But we said, this is where it's going to happen. This is where everything is moving. And so we prayed that we could be as close to the 303 and the 10 as we possibly could, because we knew that would be a generational space. And so when I met with our lender from the Solomon Foundation, and he says, Chad, what's going on here? There's nothing here. I said, no, but it's coming, and it's going to happen. And I said, even if you don't loan money to us, to build and expand in this place. Please promise me that you will fund a church to go in this place. Even if it's not us, put a church in this place, in the middle of where this community is growing, so that thousands of people drive by every day and they have to at least consider what God might be doing. And God has answered that prayer time and time again. So we're praying that 100% of the people who call Refinery home will participate. The overall arching goal is to raise $7.5 million. Seems like a lot of money. It is a lot of money in many ways. But when we come together, God multiplies our gifts and he does amazing things. Now, this project was split up into 3 different phases. Phase 1 is always outside of our walls. In all 3 of our campaigns, we say it's not about us building a larger castle, it's us contributing and help build the kingdom. That's what it's first and foremost. So what we've done in every one of our campaigns is the first 10%, the tithe, the gross number that comes in, we've used that to plant another church. When we moved in here, we built and funded a church in Turbo, Colombia. So cool. And through some logistical things and things like that, we haven't been able to go back down there, and it's a mess politically and some things that are happening there. But the church is doing well and everything like that. And so we were able to plant a church in Turbo, Colombia, just south of the Panama Canal. This time, our first fruits, we're going to plant our very first campus in Sydney, Australia. That came about as a long series of events. Wasn't something we were looking for, but God presented that to us in a very, very revealing way, and I'll tell you the story some other time. But for the sake of time tonight, I'm not going to get into that. But what I do want you to do is I want you to meet Gavin and Sally Willson. Gavin's our pastor there, Sally's his wife, and they made us a video this week kind of recapping what the first year of Refinery Sydney has looked like.
G'day everyone, it's Gavin and Sally, and we are from the Refinery Christian Church here in Sydney. And we just wanted to give you an update about what we've been doing. But before that, we just wanted to really say we are so thankful and blessed, and really we have so much gratitude for you guys and the support and the connections that we've got. So with everything, we just want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
But it's been a massive busy year. There's been lots on. What have we been doing?
Well, 2025 was a big year, and once we cut through an enormous amount of red tape, like setting up a constitution, bank accounts, insurance, we were finally able to meet at this lovely little cafe called The Orchard in Penrith. But we weren't there for long because God did bring the people. After about 12 weeks, we had to find a new location, which has got a funny name called Whatso, but it thankfully has space for us to grow. 2025, we really wanted to focus on the community, and we've done that in a few different ways.
We've run 14 kilometres in the city to serve. That was fun. We did run. Yes, we ran.
Kind of.
And we raised a couple of $1,000s for the homeless, and that was the charity that we were supporting. So that was really good. What else have we done? We've done Ronald McDonald House. We've cooked. We've served. And for those that know me, I'm not a great cook, but we did cook and serve. And what we did was we cooked and served for those families that are going through some really tough health journeys. And it was really supportive. It was really good to do that. And we had the team from America join us for that. So that was great. But what else have we been doing? There's been so much.
There has been so much. We had our first dedication ceremony for 2 of the youngest members of our congregation. So that was an awesome thing to be part of. We're having ladies' morning teas every week on a Wednesday. And then the men are catching up as well.
We are catching up. We're having cooked breakfast. Usually we're doing it once a month. So we're walking as well now. So it's a bit of a balance.
The congregation gets to catch up as well with pizza parties and hangouts. So we're really finding a way to connect with each other and connect with the community. But 2026 is bringing a whole load more fun for us as well. What are we doing?
We've got more social media, I'm assuming. And for those that are following us on social media, they will see the fun we're having.
We've also got kids ministry starting in the next couple of weeks. So we're really excited to get that up and going. And we are also getting ready to do a new Bible series.
We've got a new Bible series, yes. Her Story, His Glory. It's women in the Bible. So we're really going to focus on the women. That starts in February. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the year.
Yeah, me too. As you can see, Gavin and I have no idea how to be concise. We could really stay on film for about an hour and tell you all of what we have been up to here in Sydney. But we would just encourage you to follow us on social media, see what we're up to, and see all the plans that we have for 2026. We hope that we get to see you this year. We're really looking forward to connecting again. But in the meantime,
we love you, we miss you, and we're thankful for you. Thank you for everything. Goodbye from down under.
Isn't that so cool? Hey, tech team, can we get some subtitles on that for the weekend? Make sure we, I'm just kidding. We'll have a translator here. I spoke with Gavin this afternoon. It looks like they're going to be able to be here late April, and it's just going to be cool to celebrate and have fun with them. They are just doing an incredible work of reaching out into the community there, and we're glad that phase 1 of our project is reaching people literally on the other side of the world. Now, the phase of our next initiative is our campus expansion and what that looks like. And so, got a couple of pictures here of site plans. I think they're on the screens out in the lobby as well. Is that correct? Thank you. So they're out on out in the screens in the lobby as well if you want a closer look. This is where we are right now in this building, this kind of lawn. You'll see this is going to be our future worship center and what that looks like. So we're looking at building somewhere between probably 12 and 1,500 seat auditorium in this new building, and some room for life groups and different unique, innovative places for life groups, and a very really neat kind of covered patio portico between the two. I think we've got another kind of picture of a model of that we're looking at. This is kind of what the lobby is going to look like in the new place. And then the outdoor breezeway space that will connect these two buildings will be that, but about 4 or 5 times larger, but that kind of feel and vibe, and you can kind of see what that looks like and what it's going to be, connection space there. So that is phase 2. Phase 3 will then be to convert this building to kids space and student space moving forward. And so we are in the midst of all that kind of stuff. I don't want to get into any major details on those kind of things, but know that we're having continued conversations with our lenders. We're moving forward in that. And we are very, very optimistic that we're going to have some kind of solid dates that we can give you guys as far as timelines and stuff like that, probably in the next couple of months. So we're looking forward to that. So here's where I want to dive in. I want to tell the story of this man named Abram, who would later become Abraham in the Old Testament. I know you've probably heard of this guy, but he lived this amazing life, and just some incredible things happened in his life. But he's confronted with this very, very unique opportunity. And God does something with him that he never did with anyone else. And Abram was confronted with something about letting go of things that were important to him and clinging to things that God was promising him, even though he couldn't see them. So here's what I want to begin. I want to ask you this. What if the biggest step of faith that you'll ever take isn't about where you'll go, but what you're willing to let go? What if your biggest step of faith that you'll ever take isn't about where you go, it's about what you're willing to let go? Going is difficult, letting go is difficult. Well, in Genesis chapter 12, beginning in verse 1, God speaks to Abram, who would later become Abraham, and he says this: leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. Now, God didn't just ask Abram to take a trip. He asked him to uproot his entire life, his home, native country, his family, relatives, his routines, his financial security, his stability, everything. God asked him to uproot all of those things. And he said, just go. Leave all of these things that you know, all of the things that you're familiar with, all the things that you feel secure with, leave them. And I believe that we as Christ followers, if we call ourselves a Christ follower, our responsibility is to begin moving in the direction that God is pointing. And you know what that is in your life. My guess is the Holy Spirit is maybe tugging at you a little bit, and He's pointing you towards something. He's asking you to go. He's asking you to let go of some things. Our biggest responsibility is to just begin moving in the direction God is pointing. That's why we started the first 4. Verse 4, every day, 4 o'clock, alarms go off and we pray. What are we praying for? That people will take a spiritual step forward, that they will move into places maybe they would never go on their own. How many of you are doing that at 4 o'clock every day? Awesome. If you're not, set your phone, 4 o'clock, and say prayers every day. God, just work in the lives of people. Show them what's next. Give them the courage to do that. Give me the courage to take the next step I need to take spiritually. Whether that's to start giving, whether that's to start serving, whether that's to share my faith with a coworker or a relative or a friend. Whatever that is, whatever your next step is, that God would give you the courage to do that as well. This is not a new thing. He asked Abram to do this a couple thousand years ago. Now, here's one of the things that God does, and it's frustrating to us a lot of times. One of the things that God consistently does in our spiritual growth is push us towards the unknown and the uncomfortable. The unknown and the uncomfortable. He says, Abram, I want you to leave everything you know, and I want you to go to the land I will show you. He doesn't even say, Abram, I want you to go to Texas. Abram, I want you to go to Australia. Abram, I want you to go to Mexico. He doesn't even tell him. He just says, I want you to go, and I'll tell you along the way. Can you imagine starting out a trip that way? I know with my wife, that's not going to work, okay? That's not going to work because you need to know what kind of clothes to pack. Well, how long are we going to be gone? Where are we going to stay? Do they have a pool? Why don't they have a pool? You know, all the things. You know, we want to know those things ahead of time. But God pushes us towards the unknown and the uncomfortable time and time again. And we start to ask questions. Why did I lose this job? Why is my health not getting any better? Why did this relationship end? Why didn't I get into this school? This was my target school. Why didn't I get in there? Why doesn't this plan ever seem to work out? Why do I keep hearing people talk about mission trips all the time? Why do we keep hearing about joining a life group all the time? It seems like everybody that I run into comes to me for advice or for counsel. What in the world? God asks us to do uncomfortable things, and many times unknown things. You know why he does this? He does this because it pushes us closer to him. When we are uncomfortable, we are much more open to the presence and the leading of God. God, I don't know where we're going. I'm pretty sure I've never been there. I need you to show up. Whereas if I have a road map, I just hop on I-40 and go that way for a while. And, we get far enough, I'll stop and get something to eat and it'll be fine. And we'll just go. There's plenty of hotels along the way. See, there's a difference in mentality when we know versus where we don't know. And when we're uncomfortable and we don't know, it pushes us towards the presence of God. Maybe you get that bad health report. Maybe your loved one is in an accident. Maybe your family is in shambles. When your normal routine is changed. When you get that negative report at work saying, hey, you just didn't cut it this quarter. Or when you move, when you geographically move, everything gets moved around and jostled. Do you know that people are more likely to start going to church after a move or relocation? So every time we see those orange cones, all these neighborhoods being built, and people are moving in there, do you know they're more likely to come to church in that transitional period? Well, because everything's new. And a lot of people, here it is, a lot of people are running from something. They left something behind, and they're wanting to start over. I want to reinvent myself. I've done a lot of things bad in the past. I'm going to go where nobody knows me, and I'm going to start over, and I'm going to reinvent myself, and I'm going to try to do things better this time. It happens. It happens. And a lot of times, an invite to church during that transitional period right there is just transformational in people's lives. Let's continue with this story of Abram. What happens next? He says, I want you to go. And I'll kind of tell you along the way. In Genesis chapter 12, verses 2 and 3, it says this. He says, I will make you, okay? That's future. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous. And you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on the earth will be blessed through you. He doesn't say you are a great nation right now. You are a blessing to others. And you know what? All the families on earth are blessed through you. He doesn't say that. He said will be. See, God's doing something here that I'm not really fond of, and I don't think a lot of you are either. He tells Abram, just like he tells me, and just like he tells you, you are a work in progress. And I've got a great plan for you, but you got to trust me, and you got to step out, and you got to trust me in the uncertain, and in the uncomfortable, and in the unknown. You got to trust me. I've got a great plan for you. And here's another thing that really gets me. God didn't promise Abram a smooth journey. He didn't promise that. He goes, just by the way, every night you're going to have someplace to stay. There's going to be people that are going to feed you. They're going to give you clothes. They're going to take care of you. It's just going to be easy. Just head off in that direction. You'll know where to go. It'll be great. No, he didn't promise a smooth journey. But you know what he did promise? Blessing, impact, and legacy. And that's why this next campaign is so important. Blessing, impact, and legacy. It goes beyond us. People we've never seen, people who aren't even born yet, people who have never even moved here, people we don't even like. You're like, oh no. Yeah, there's going to be people you don't like. It's okay. I just want to let you know, I'm going to confess something. I like to be comfortable. I like my routines. I don't want any drama. I like to have time to think about things. I don't like to be rushed. And when all those things happen, I'm just going to tell you, I get difficult to be around. Okay? As my grandson would say, I get spicy. He said, spicy. When those things don't happen, I get spicy. You get spicy when your routines are upset? I'm not going to lie, especially when I travel. I want a smooth trip. However, as we all know, that's not up to me. I don't ever know why when you're getting on a plane, somebody says, hey, have a great flight. I have no control over that. I will do my best. But I have no control whatsoever over what happens there. I don't have any control over when they leave, when they get there, or what we're going to do along the way. But I'll do my best. I want a smooth trip. But however, it very rarely works out that way. Things are out of my control. And here's what happens. A lot of times, the interruptions and the uncomfortable things that happen along the way end up being the best things. There's story there. Many of you remember the story I told a few weeks ago about Oliver, the guy we met in the airport in Montreal, and how he talked about all these great places, and he had never been to any of them. Oliver has no idea he's a sermon illustration. But what a great story. And if my trip had gone just the way I planned, would have never met Oliver. Would have never got to spend time with Oliver. But here's where the rubber hits the road. God says, Abraham, just leave all the stuff you know and go. And then I'm going to do these things through you at some point. And then in verse 4 of Genesis chapter 12, so Abram departed as the Lord had instructed. And Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he left Haran. As the Lord has instructed. He did what God said. How many of us are missing out on these blessings, on being a blessing, of leaving a legacy, of having an impact right now, because we don't do what God says? My guess is it's a higher percentage than any of us would like to admit. Just think about this. A couple of years from now, we'll have permits, and it's going to take a while to build, but let's just say a couple of years from now, you walk into this building, if you join us in this, you're not going to just see walls and windows. You're going to see a physical manifestation of your faith, the legacy of your faithfulness. And you're going to see the future of countless lives who will be forever changed. That's what I see. It's not about a building. So when I stood in this field all those years ago with Doug Crozier, the president of at the time, the CEO of the Solomon Foundation, I said, Doug, this is a generational piece of land. It's generational. If it's not us, please just promise me that you will loan money to some church that can build here so that for generations to come, people will come to the 303 in Indian school, and they'll be as close to the 303 and the 10 as possible. And we're going to be the center of where things are moving. This is a generational thing that we have an opportunity to do. And here's what I want you to know. Once in a generation opportunity requires once in a generation sacrifice. Once in a generation opportunity requires once in a generation sacrifice. That means we need to step up. Now I want to be clear what sacrifice is. Sacrifice is giving up something for something that you love more. Giving up something for something that you love more. Sacrifice is getting rid of something that you love and replacing it with nothing. Just fill in the spot. Sacrifice is also delaying something that you want and prioritizing something else. Been saving for a car, been saving a remodel for the kitchen, been saving for that vacation. Maybe you. Sacrifice is delaying some of those things. And prioritizing being people who make an eternal impact in the West Valley of Phoenix, Arizona. You see, what God offers us is the same thing that he offers Abram. God's greatest offer to us is not that we are blessed, it's that we can be a blessing. How cool is that? We get to be a blessing. Not just that we're blessed, but that we get to be a blessing. So he tells Abram, you are going to be a generational blessing. What an amazing promise. What amazing prophecy that is. And here's the way God works through this. God doesn't just leave us out to dry. And God really doesn't ask us just to do something for him. What he asks us is to become someone in him. I want my spirit to live in you. And I want you to be transformed by the renewing of your heart, your soul, and your mind. And that you would honor me with your strength in every fiber of your being. God just doesn't say, just go do something for me. He wants us to become someone in him. He's molding us and guiding us and shaping us into be people who are blessings, who are an impact. And see, God doesn't just call us to know about him, but to know him. That's why if you've been around here any time at all, reading books about the Bible and commentaries and all that kind of stuff, that's great. But it's no substitute for reading the Bible yourself. It's great to know what other people think, but what's God speaking to you? You have the opportunity to know him deeply. I can know about God, but do you really know him? It's like Oliver. He knew about all these places, but he didn't really know those places. He knew about them, but he didn't really know them. And see, God doesn't just call us to merely be obedient, but he says, I want you to belong. I have a family here that I'm calling you to and a purpose that's greater than anything that you could ever hope or imagine on your own. And a lot of us think, well, my lifestyle will change and all these kinds of things. That's right. But here's the good news. He doesn't offer us a new lifestyle. He offers us a new life. When we follow and we do as God has instructed, we get a new life. But here's the painful part. In order to get a new life, your current life has to change. In order to get a new life, our current life has to change. This is why next is so important. It's not just from this financial standpoint, but that we say, God, there are current things in my life that need to be different in order for my life to be more in line with where you are leading. And so it's time for us to take a step. And so I'm going to end tonight with where we began. What if the biggest step of faith that you'll ever take isn't about where you go, but what you're willing to let go? And do as God has instructed. You were given one of these cards on the way in, and there's lots of questions about this, I know. But some of our team will be out in the care room, and they would love to answer any questions you have about this, especially if you're new. How does this work? What does this mean? I'm confused about how all this works. What does it look like? I'm already giving. Does that mean what? They want to help you walk through that stuff. We're all about clarity in that. So take a couple moments and consider, God, what is it I'm doing? So maybe some of you say, yeah, I'm going to confirm my commitment. I made it a year ago. We're still there and we're right there. Some of you are going to say, you know what? I made a commitment a year ago and I'm going to increase it now. And some of you are like, I wasn't here a year ago and I'm going to start. It's great. And some of you are like, I need to think about this and pray about this. Great. Our goal is 100% participation. That means through prayer and giving and just forward movement and taking that next step in our faith. A year ago, Tyler wrote a brand new song encapsulating the idea of what the next campaign is all about. And he's going to share that with us now.
Church, like Chad said earlier, I kind of, a year ago, sat down and tried to write a song that would kind of encapsulate the message behind Next. And fasted and prayed and wrote a song. And I'm fortunate that it's touched people. And so in this moment right now, you're invited to sit, you're invited to stand. I would just encourage you to listen to the words and have a moment of self-reflection in this time. Through every stone we lay, we're planting seeds of faith. A house of worship rising up by your grace. And just as you've led us from desert to the land, you're calling our hearts forward by your mighty hand. We hear your calling, Lord, calling us deeper, to take a step of faith, to trust the promise keeper. So we're stepping out, we're saying yes, trusting in you, Lord, to do the rest. Hearts wide open, faith confessed, bringing you our very best. It's your church, it's your bride. Be our strength and be our guide. In your name we stand as one. Forever, Lord, your will be done. And you've been faithful through every test. Now our hearts are ready to see what's next. When you called my name, my heart woke up. You brought me out of ashes, fill my empty cup. Every step you've led, every door you've blessed. Now my heart is ready. Lord, show me what's next. stepping out, we're saying yes, trusting in you, Lord, to do the rest. Hearts wide open, faith confessed, bringing you our very best. It's your church and it's your bride. Be our strength and be our guide. In your name we stand as one. Forever, Lord, your will be done. You've been faithful through every test, yes. Now our hearts are ready to see what's next. Oh, see what's next. So we're saying yes to see you move. We want what's next, we'll follow you. Hearts wide open, faith renewed. We trust your word and all we do. Oh, we're saying yes to see you move. We want what's next, we'll follow you. With hearts wide open, faith renewed. We trust your word and all we do. Oh, we're saying yes to see you move. We want what's next, we'll follow you. With hearts wide open, faith renewed. We trust your word and all we do. So we're stepping out, we're saying yes, trusting in you, Lord, to do the rest. Hearts wide open, faith confessed, bringing you our very best. It's your church, it's your bride. Be our strength and be our guide. In your name we stand as one. Forever, Lord, your will be done. You've been faithful through every test, yes. Now our hearts are ready to see what's next.